world, Krista here with Books and Jams, and I'm here with another book haul. Now, I know that around BookTube lately, I've been watching a lot of videos about how to do BookTube cheaply, and I completely agree with the things that those people are saying. And I would hate it if me doing another book haul intimidates someone to feel like they cannot participate in this amazing community. So I just want to clarify that all of these books were either free from a little free library or from a library book sale or from thrift shops. I've not paid full price for a single one of these. So the most expensive one I think was $2. So although I am doing another book haul, I just wanted to clarify that I am a huge supporter of my local library and thrift shops secondhand, and I really would encourage you to join this community if you haven't already. Don't let feeling that you need to buy books be something that holds you back. So I just wanted to clarify that before I jump in, because there are a ton of books in this video. I've decided not to feel guilty about buying books on sale and getting a good deal, or buying them secondhand. As you'll see, I got some amazing deals. I'm going to start with the two that I picked up from my friend's little free library, and they are The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. Once I heard people talk about it, I realized that it's not quite as creepy as you may think at first. So I believe this is about a little boy who's raised in a graveyard. So I don't really know much about it, but I am looking forward to reading it and thrilled that I found it from a little free library. Also, I have seen this book around on BookTube, and that is The Reader by Tracy Chee, and honestly I don't know anything about it, except that it's about me, the reader. Just kidding. I am part of a fiction guild for Zondervan, which is part of HarperCollins Christian Publishing, and I have two books that I have been sent. I'm a little bit behind in reading, so I get these to read and review. The first one is an Amish fiction, A Love Made New by Kathleen Fuller. And the other one is historical fiction called Waves of Mercy by Lynn Austen. I have read a number of Lynn Austen books, and I know that I really enjoy her, so I'm looking forward to reading these. A couple weeks ago, I went on a trip to Maine with some girlfriends for a little bit, and I went up early and found 3 or 4 different thrift shops and a library that was having a sale. And so the rest of the books that I have come from those. So the first pile that I'm going to show you, these books were either 75 cents each or 7 for $1. So I got all of these 7 books for $1. Crazy. So let me just show you what they are. Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. This is a Carol Higgins Clark Christmas mystery called Deck the Halls, and I don't know if you've heard me say it before, but when I was in high school, I loved reading Mary Higgins Clark mysteries, so I'm looking forward to reading this one this coming month in December. 101 Best Beginning Lines Ever Written by Barnaby Conrad. A romp through literary openings for writers and readers. I just thought this would be an interesting one to kind of flip through now and then, just about good starts to books. I bought this one as part of a gift for my brother, who doesn't watch this channel, so I think I'm pretty safe. So Jordan, my brother, likes to read books about war and the history of war. This is called Blood Rights, Origins and History of the Passions of War by Barbara Enright. So I just picked that up as part of my 7 books for $1 so that I could add that to his Christmas gift. I picked up a book called The Elephant Keeper by Christopher Nicholson. This is about 2 children who have the responsibility of caring for an elephant. This one is called 31 Bond Street by Ellen Horan, and this is a novel of murder, innocence, and power in New York City. Sorry, I'm sinking into my chair. I did a little rearranging in my house, and I'm hoping to get a new setup for where I film, but I have to work on the lighting because it's in my bedroom, and I bought a new bookshelf, and I moved the chair that I previously sat in this corner into the other room. So this is my big comfy reading chair, but it's not the best for displaying books and filming, but it's gonna have to do for today. The last of the 7 books that I found in that thrift store is called Inner Excavation: Explore Yourself Through Photography, Poetry, and Mixed Media by Liz Lamoureux. So this just is a book that I probably won't sit down and read from cover to cover, but again might just kind of pick up now and then. It talks a lot about photography and poetry. I'm not a writer, so I don't often write poetry, but I do love to take pictures. So I just thought that looked pretty interesting as a book to kind of flip through now and then. This is a World War II historical fiction, which you know that I love, and it's called The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. And I believe it's a lighthearted book that's written during that period, which is not very common. Usually books about World War II time period are pretty heavy and serious. So I'm looking forward to reading something that's a little bit different but also set during that time period. And I picked up The Rosie Project by Graham Simsian. You've probably heard of this before, but it's just about a man who tries to develop the perfect or the ideal woman, and of course things probably don't go as expected. So just seems like a lighthearted, fun read. This is one of my all-time favorite books, and I already own, I think, 2 copies of it, but it's one that I love to give away or let people borrow, and it is Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers, about Hosea in the Bible who God tells to marry a prostitute, and she continues to be unfaithful, and he loves her unconditionally. So it is that biblical story, but set during California Gold Rush time period, and it's beautiful. It's beautifully written, and I find a piece of myself in all of the characters in here, and whether for the good or the bad. I really love this book, and I think it is fantastic, and I recommend it all the time, and I love to have extra copies so that I can give them out. The final book that I purchased from that library book sale is called Dangerous to Know by Tasha Alexander. It's a novel of suspense, and I don't really know much more about it than that. I picked up The Selection and the Elite. I have read this series by Kiera Cass, the Selection series, previously, but I don't own the books. I read them from the library, so when I saw them very cheap at a thrift store, I thought I would pick them up. This I found interesting. It's called Amazing Grace, A Vocabulary of Faith by Kathleen Norris. And I believe it's a novel, but it talks a lot about how Christians have a lot of jargon that we use, a lot of phrases and words that we use that may not be accessible to people who don't have Christian faith or haven't grown up in church. But we use a lot of church talk that kind of separates and instead of unites. Unfortunately, I think I do use a lot of words that may not make sense or be accessible to other people. And so this book, I think, will challenge me and also be very interesting. The next one is called March by Geraldine Brooks, and it's not a very big book. It's kind of a little book. It won the Pulitzer Prize, so that's probably why I picked it up, but I have never heard of it, so I don't know anything about it. Picked up this by Muriel Barbary. It's called Gourmet Rhapsody, and this is a Europa edition, which I see on Max from Well Done Books channel all the time. Muriel Barbary has written The Elegance of the Hedgehog, which I've heard of but not read. And this one, I believe, is about a food critic, and it talks a lot about food. The last one that I picked up from that thrift store is called The Rabbi Who Found Messiah, the story of Yitzhak Kaduri and his prophecies of the end time. I love reading about the similarities or the connection between Judaism and Christianity. There are a lot of connections, especially at the root of our faith. So I really was curious about this man who studied the end times as a Jewish rabbi. It's a nonfiction. I found this to be very interesting, so hopefully I'll get to it sometime. So the last little bit of this haul is from a store called Savers, where when you buy 4, you get the 5th one free, and they were having a sale, so I picked up 5 books, of course. And the first is Philippa Gregory, The Queen's Fool. I know a lot of people who like historical fiction love Philippa Gregory, but I have not read anything by her. So I grabbed one. I have no idea if it's at the beginning or near the end, or if she kind of should be read in sequential order. I don't know. So if you're someone who's read Philippa Gregory, help me out. The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey, and I've seen this all over BookTube, and so I just grabbed it. I am a big fan of Kate Morton's book, The Forgotten Garden. I also own The Secret Keeper, and now I also own The House at Riverton, which I have not yet read, but I love Kate Morton and her writing, so I'm looking forward to that one. This book is Still Missing by Chevy Stevens. So this is about a woman, a 32-year-old woman who gets kidnapped and is held captive in a mountain cabin for about a year. I don't know how she gets rescued, but somehow she does, and then it's about her kind of readjusting back to life and the things that happened while she was held captive. And this is probably my favorite of this whole haul because I've heard a lot about this, and it's Lilac Girls by Martha Hall Kelly. This is a World War II fiction about women in the war, and I'm very excited about this, and I've heard a number of people in real life and friends on BookTube who have read this and recommended it to me. So I'm very excited about it, and I love lilacs in May. I'm wondering if I should wait till May to read this just for the sake of being surrounded by lilacs. We'll see, but probably won't be able to wait that long. Thanks for watching. If you haven't yet checked out my giveaway, I will put a card up here for you to go and find it. I'm just so thrilled that I have 200 people who watch my videos, and I didn't expect that when I started, but it's been a fun journey, and I'm really, really grateful to be a part of this community and to learn about books and to read books that I would never have heard of on my own. So thank you for watching, and go ahead and hop on over to the giveaway. Talk to me in the comments about any of these books that stood out to you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!